Hi students. So today we are continuing our session. In the previous session, I have discussed about the estimate and its basic needs and what is meant by lump sum items and all I have discussed. Now there is another item which is very important, that is I have told you. So there are some direct costs and there are some indirect costs. So what are the major indirect cost on a estimate? What is a major indirect cost? The major indirect cost is work charge establishment. The major indirect cost is work charged work charged establishment. So whenever we prepare any estimate, we need to keep some amount for work charge establishment also. So work charge establishment, generally we keep about 1.5 to 2.5% of the total estimated cost of the total estimated cost is taken is taken. So work charge establishment is nothing but the whatever the office staff you needed, whatever the salaries of the supervisors, engineers, planning department, execution department, surveying department, all the departments which are working for the completion of the project. So the everything related to them are counted in this account. Okay, that is the thing but work charge establishment, which is equally important for taking the work further. Okay, so that is nothing but work charge establishment. That the what kind of question we can expect is how much we need to keep. So in the work charge establishment, how much percentage of the total estimated cost generally we keep for work charge establishment? That is approximately 1.5 to 2.5% that we need to remember. What kind of question that we can expect is this only. Now, how to make the measurements? Measurement of materials. Measurement of materials and work. See, for example, if you purchase a potato, aloo, so you will purchase it in kgs. If you purchase some milk, doodh, you purchase it in liters. So why you can't purchase the potato in kg in liter and milk in kg? Because every item will have a specified unit. Every item will have a specified unit. Similarly, in our project work also, there will be different items. In one item, you take the cubic meter as the measurement, and sometimes you take the meter square as measurement. Sometimes you take the running meter as measurement. Sometimes you take the unit as measurement. So likewise, depending upon the item, sometimes you take the number. Okay, depending upon the item, we take the corresponding unit. For example, what are the different units we are having? What are the different units? For example, single unit. First one is single units. Single units or numbers, simply numbers. So this is one measurement unit generally we use for doors. Okay, generally we don't measure door with what is a square meter and what is the cubic meter of wood you are using. Like that, we don't discuss about door. We take door as a unit. How many doors? Two number of doors, three number of doors. There will be some specification: 2 meter by 4 meter, 3 meter by 6 meter. Likewise, there will be some specification of the door. Dimensional specification will be there, but we measure the door in the form of number only. Doors, windows. Okay, doors, windows, gates. Okay, so all these items of work will have a number as unit. So single unit, how many gates you are keeping, how many windows you are keeping, how many doors you are keeping. Likewise, we calculate. Okay, so these we take them as a single unit, and we will be having a single unit price again in the SSR. Next is running meter, that is linear measurements. Linear measurements. Linear measurements generally we take, or simply we can call it as running meter. Running meter. Generally this running meter or linear measurements we take for the items which are having predominant length and very minimum width and thickness. They are only having a dominant direction. Dominant direction is length. Rest of the width and height are very less, minimum. So that is why for those kind of materials, length is enough. Not needed to find the cross section. Not necessary to find the thickness, width, and height of those components. Example, pipes. Okay, pipes and okay, we can say fencing or electrical wire, okay, electrical wire. So all those things, these are some examples I have taken. Okay, these are some examples I have taken. Now all these things generally we take it in the form of a running meter, etc. All these things we will take it as in the form of running meter. Okay, next is what's having surface area as a measurement. Works having surface area as measurement. See, we all know that better example is plastering. We all know this plastering. So generally the plastering we take in terms of square meters. Not here, this is running meter, or we can call it as a square meter. Okay, square meter or meter square also. Like plastering, painting, okay, painting, and this kind of what do you say, that whitewashing, and tar sheet. So all these things which are having surface measurements are predominant, there we will take the surface areas as a unit of measurement. Okay, next is cubical area, cubical content, cubical measurement, where all the dimensions are predominant. Example, all the concrete structures like a slab, okay, like slab, footing, okay, and RR masonry, anywhere, anything you can take where the length, width, and depth all are predominant. There we need to measure all the three dimensions. So that is nothing but cubical measurements, or we make the units here is cubic meters, or meter cube, Okay, so these are the units. Of measurement for different components of the work. In a work, there will be some components which we measure in running meter, some components which we measure in square meter, and some components which we measure in running meter. Okay, so now I would like to show you the code IS. There is a code IS 1200. There is a code IS 1200 which shows all the different kinds of components, and what are the units which we need to use. See here, earthwork. In earthwork, always the unit is cubic meter only, or earthwork, always the unit is cubic meter only. There are two units here. One is unit of measurement, and there will be another unit of payment. So unit of measurement is this, unit of payment is this. Okay, sometimes unit of measurement may be one thing, unit of payment may be other thing. That is very important. You need to notice that. Okay, see here, cement, cubic meter. Okay, here RCC sunshade, very important. See here, very important. See here, when you are constructing RCC sunshade, you need to take the measurement unit is cubic meter, because you will pour concrete into it. In RCC sunshade, you need to pour concrete. So concrete pouring can be done in terms of cubic meter. You cannot calculate the concrete in square meter. So you can calculate only concrete in cubic meter. So that is why the unit of measurement is cubic meter. But The payment mode is running meter. The payment mode is running meter. See here, this is very, very important. When you are using RCC sunshade for construction, for measurement of the quantity of concrete needed for constructing the sunshade is cubic meter, but the payment will be done in running meter. Okay. So dam proofing core square meter, brickwork cubic meter, everything is same. See, thin partition walls. If it is a thin partition wall, again this is important because where the units are changing now, that is a little important. For example, see, thin partition walls is measured in square meter, while constructing we measure it in square meter, but during payment we measure it in cubic meter. During payment we measure it in cubic meter. Okay, that is again important. And see, stone masonry, everything is cubic meter. Woodwork, everything is cubic meter. Shutters of doors and windows, thickness specified. See here, doors is in number, door is in number, but the shutter is not in number. Shutter is in square meter. When you are applying shutter as a door, so shutters, mild steel shutters, if you are using shutters, then we use a square meter as the dimension of measurement and the dimension of payment also. And steel, again, I haven't told one thing. I have told number, I have told running meter, I have told square meter, I have told cubic meter, but one more unit is there, that is weight, quintal or kg or ton. So only steel and its steel components like steel gates, steel lifting arrangements, steel rolling devices, all these things which are made of, fabricated out of steel, we take them in the term of, even for measurement we need in kg, and for payment also we need in kg or quintal, whatever it may, all the derivatives of weight only, quintal, ton, kg, whatever it may be, all are derivatives of the same term. So steel works, whatever the steel works, steel reinforcement or steel bending, binding, steel and rivet bolts of steel, iron holes of steel, okay, iron railing of steel. So everywhere see, steel is, if steel is associated with it, majorly we take it in the form of a kg or ton or quintal. Very, very important. Steel work is done in form of kgs only. See, only location where it is changing, that is the grills, iron grills. In iron grills, only in iron grills it is taken in square meter. So very, very important, because only for iron grills it is changing. Rest of all the locations, steel is taken in the form of kg, but only for iron grills it is changing. That is why it is little important. Okay, again, so roofing, cubic meter I have told you. LC, lime concrete, roof and including of tiles. See, generally before laying of tiles, generally we between the tiles and also below the tile also, we will lay a small sheet of lime concrete. We will lay a small sheet of lime concrete that is having a little thickness. So that is where the lime concrete, where you are doing tiles or small brickwork or stone slabs and all, there we take the, only for lime concrete we take it in the form of square meter, not for the concrete completely, only for the lime concrete course. Lime concrete course you take it in the form of square meter, and centering, shuttering, everywhere it is square meter. Okay, AC sheet again it is having a little thickness, more length and more width, that is why here also square meter. Simple logic, where the length and width are predominant, there we take the units as square meter. When the length is only predominant, we take it in the form of running meter. When all the dimensions are equally predominant, then we take it in the form of cubic meter. Okay, so plastering square meter, everything is square meter. Rainwater pipe or pipes, I have told you already, pipe generally we take it in running meter. Wooden trusses, see, this truss is also little important. So truss we take it in the form of number. Truss we take it in the form of a number. Okay, glass panel square meter, fixing of glass panels also number. Okay, so if you are taking manpower, number of manpower, so man mazdurs, laskars, or else you can say that skilled blacksmith or skilled carpenter. So carpenter, blacksmith, all those persons also we take it in number. The unit of human resources also taken in the form of number. So all these things, units, whatever I have shown, whichever are important, I have make a star mark to them, that are important for examination. Okay, so let us move ahead. So these are the different measurements which we use. These are the different units of measurements and units of payment which we use as per the code. What is the code name? IS 1200. IS 1200. Okay. So this is the unit of measurement and unit of payment is over. Now what are the rules? There are certain rules for doing measurement. Very, very important for obtaining a objective questions from these rules. Very, very important. Let us listen. So rules for measurement. Rules for measurement. Rules for measurement. Rules for measurement. See the first rule. The first rule, the rules of measurement are also given in the code IS 1200. The rules of measurement are also given in the code IS 1200 only. So the what is the first rule? Measurement shall be made for measurement. Measurement shall be made for completed item of work. Completed item of work. Completed item of work. Okay, but not taken. But not taken in between. But not taken in between. That means, for example, if this is a footing, for example, so this is the footing you are laying. Okay. So now this footing you are laying in different stages. So first day, this much footing is over. First day, this much footing is over. Second day, this much footing is over. This much footing is over. Now you are not supposed to take every day's measurement. Once the whole footing is over, then only you are supposed to take the measurement. That means measurement is recorded for the finished item of work. For the finished item of work, not for intermediate works. Okay, it is taken for finished item of work. It is taken for finished item of work. It is taken for finished item of work. Okay, so this is the first rule of measurement. This is the first rule of measurement. What is the second rule? What is the second rule? Second rule of measurement. The order. Whenever you are booking the measurement, when you are recording, so during recording of measurement, during recording of measurement, the sequence to be followed, the sequence to be followed is length, breadth and depth, LBD, respectively. Okay, length, breadth and depth respectively. You are not supposed to take the length at the last, width at the first. Though you can take upon your freedom width at the first and depth at the last and length at the last, whatever it may be. But during recording it on the book, during putting that data on paper, while putting the data on paper, you must follow a sequence that is length, breadth and depth. Okay, LBD. LBD is the sequence of the recording of the measurement. That is another rule. Okay, rule number 2. Now, rule number 3, all the works subjected to some kind of tolerances. Okay, see the tolerance allowed during measurements. The tolerance allowed during measurements, the tolerance allowed during measurements is, see if it is a linear measurement. For linear measurement, the linear measurement, it should be rounded. It should be rounded it should be rounded to nearest 0.01 meter. So 2 decimal up to 0.01 meter. You need to round it up. For example, you have got a reading of a length 2.936. You have got it like this. Now it should be rounded off 2.94. It should be rounded off to 0.94. Similarly, if you are getting it as 2.935, then it should be rounded to 2.94 again. It should be rounded to 2.94 again. If it is 2.9 or something, 2.121, then it should be rounded to 3.12. That means up to 2 decimal only you can record. Up to 2 decimal only you can record. You cannot record up to 3 decimal because the least count of the meter, least count of the tape which you are using for the measurement is having this one only. So 1 centimeter will be the least count. That is why we will keep the least count up to 1 centimeter during our measurements. So that is up to 2 decimal of the meter. You need to keep our tolerance. Okay, this is for length. Similarly for area, aerial measurements. So it should be rounded off to the nearest 0.01 square meter. 0.01 square meter. Similarly for cubical measurements or volumetric measurements, it should be rounded off to nearest 0.01 cubic meter. Okay, it should be rounded off to the nearest 0.01 cubic meter. So likewise, generally we keep the tolerances. This is the third rule. The fourth rule of measurement. Okay, same type of work. If you are executing same work at different locations. For example, I will tell. Let me write the statement and then I will explain it. Okay, if same type of work. So if we perform same work, same type of work in different conditions, and nature shall be recorded separately, shall be measured separately, okay, as a different items, For example, I am doing earthwork excavation. In my site. I am doing this earthwork excavation for the purpose of digging a trench along the toe of a hill or a mountain. I am doing earthwork excavation for digging a trench along the hill toe. Same excavation item I am doing the same excavation item in the same site, but in the different location for the purpose of foundation of a retaining wall. So I am doing the excavation in the same site for the same work, but one excavation is intended for cutting a trench along the hill toe. Another excavation is intended for laying the foundation concrete of a retaining wall. So now I am doing the same work, same type of work. That means earthwork excavation only, but in different conditions, and the nature of work is different. Here the first condition is I am doing it for the flowing of water. So in the second condition, I am doing it for the laying of the foundation. And the nature of work is this is for trench, for at the hill toe for sending the water out. The nature of work is for laying the foundation and constructing retaining wall here. So the nature of work is different, the condition of the work is different, and the type of work is same. So the example is, so if I am doing earthwork excavation for trench along hill toe, and the same earthwork excavation I am doing for laying of foundation, for laying of foundation, for laying of foundation to, for laying of foundation to a retaining wall. So these two items are same, but these two work is same, but the items are different. Here earthwork excavation is for trench. Here the earthwork excavation is for foundation. So though the same type of work you are performing for different conditions, different nature, they should be measured separately and they should be recorded as a different item. They should be recorded as different item. That is rule number 4. That is rule number 4. Rule number 5. Rule number 5 is the bill of quantities fully describe the materials. The bill of quantities fully describe the material, proportion, workmanship, and accurately represent the work to be executed. So whatever the recorded measurements, whatever the bill of quantities you have prepared, the bill of quantities, whatever the bill of quantities. So after using these measurements, you will create a bill of quantities. The bill of quantities fully describe, fully describe the materials you have used, the materials you have used, and the proportions you have used, what proportion of 40 mm, what proportion of 20 mm, what proportion of sand you have used, the proportions, and workmanship also should be covered in it. Workmanship, and accurately represent the work, and accurately represent the work to be executed. Accurately represent the work to be executed. Work to be executed. See, whenever we write any item, I will show this in an estimate. You will understand it. Whatever the statement I am saying, sometimes you may not understand at this point of time, but surely you will understand once I show you the real estimate, and I will explain there also the same thing. The bill of quantity. See, the measurement is nothing but the bill which you are going to record afterwards completion of the work. So before the work and after the work, the measurements will not change. Okay, during the estimate, the measurement will be, it is confined to paper. After the execution of work, whatever the measurements you are taking, that measurement is given for the purpose of payment to the contractor. So the measurements will not change. The measurement indicates the amount of that indicate that decides the amount of money you need to give to the contractor, isn't it? Now this measurement item, so I have told you the item name is earthwork excavation. Earthwork excavation. So in this earthwork excavation, you need to specify the things. So earthwork excavation done by manual means, or earthwork excavation done by machinery. That means what I am saying here, what kind of workmanship. So in the item I am specifying earthwork excavation performed manually. That means the workmanship should be done by human beings. Earthwork excavation mechanically done. That means what? You are using a workmanship of different machinery. See, in this item of work, I am telling that what should be the workmanship. So that means the item should specify. The item should specify the workmanship also. And now it should describe the materials. Laying of PCC M20. Laying of PCC M20. 20 mm down. Laying of PCC M20. It describes the item name. 20 mm with 20 mm down aggregate. With 20 mm down aggregate. That means what? I am specifying the material there. So in this item of work, I am saying laying of PCC M20. That is the name of the item. And 20 mm down. That means what? You are supposed to use only 20 up to 20 mm material, with a proportion of coarse aggregate and fine aggregate as 60-40. That means I am telling the materials, and also I am telling the proportion of the material 60-40. So using the coarse aggregate and fine aggregate 60-40 ratio. Okay. So likewise, that means an item of work will represent the material. It represents the item of work. It describes the proportion of the material. It describes the workmanship. All these things should be represented in the item. So then you will go for the measurement. Then you will go for the measurements. So likewise, you need to do. You need to specify the bill of quantities. And the last rule of this, is the last rule of this is, and the last rule of this is, see, sixth one, the last rule. Let us see what is the last rule. In case of brickwork or masonry work, okay, in case of brickwork or masonry or stone masonry, you can say masonry work, when you are doing a brickwork or a masonry work, generally you need to record the masonry, RR masonry, whatever the masonry you construct. Generally we construct it below the foundation, above the foundation, sometimes in the above the floor level also, okay, depending upon the type of structure it varies. So in case of this brickwork and masonry work, we need to record it, okay, the measurement should be recorded. So the measurement should be categorized, categorized and recorded separately, should be recorded separately as described below, See what is the categories. Number one, from foundation level to the plinth level. From foundation level to plinth level, that is first level. From foundation level to the plinth level, that is the first level. And next is from plinth level to the first floor level. From plinth level to the first floor level. From plinth level to the first floor level, that is second category. From first floor level to second floor level, and so on. Whatever the number of floors you are constructing, for each floor you need to separately calculate the item of brickwork or item of masonry work, okay. Second floor and so on. So these are the rules of the measurements, rules of taking measurements. So in this session we have discussed what are the different measurements you need to put for a particular item of work and how to record them. All these things are very, very important for objective questions, okay. From these concepts you can get many kind of objective questions, okay. So we will discuss this session by understanding what are the methods of extracting the quantities from the drawings, that we will discuss in the next session. So thank you so much everybody.